is Keisha Revalina, and now I'll be explaining about the relationship of tooth size and available space during the mixed dentition. So this is procedure in mandibular arch. You have to measure with the tooth measuring gauge, as you can see in the left picture, or a pointed belly gauge, as you can see in the right picture. The greatest mesiodistal width of each of the four mandibular incisor, and don't forget to record this value on the mixed dentition analysis form. For the second one is for determine the amount of space needed for alignment of the incisor. You have to set the belly gauge to a value equal to the sum of the width of the left central incisor and the left lateral incisor. Place one point of the gauge at the midline of the alveolar crest between the central incisor and let the other point lie along the line of the dental arch on the left side. And you have to mark on the tooth or on the cast that precise point where the distal surface of the lateral incisor will be when it has been aligned. And don't forget to repeat this process for the right side of the arch. If the cephalometric evaluation showed the mandibular incisor to be too far labially, the belly gauge tip is placed at the midline, but move lingually at sufficient amount to stimulate the expected uprighting of the incisor as detected by the cephalometric evaluation. For the next step is to compute the amount of space available after incisor alignment. So to do this, you have to measure the distance from the point mark in the line of the arch to the mesial surface of the first permanent molar. This distance is the space available for the cuspid and two bicuspid and for any necessary molar adjustment after the incisor have been aligned. For the next step is to predict the size of the combined width of the mandibular cuspid and bicuspid. It is divided into two methods. The first one is for long method and the next one for the short method. Here for the long method, experienced clinicians may choose to use the 50% prediction since it is a more precise estimate. Those who are inexperienced or without the use of cephalometric and a precision appliance method would do well to proceed more conservatively and use the 75% level of prediction. So, for the long method, prediction of the combined width of the cuspid, first bicuspid, and second bicuspid is done by use of probability card. Located in the left column of the mandibular card, the value that most nearly correspond to the sum of the width of the four mandibular incisor. To the right is a row of figures indicating the range of value for all the cuspid and bicuspid size that will be found for incisor of the indicated size. So for the example, note that for a small incisor of 22 mm combined with the summated mandibular cuspid and bicuspid width range from 22.6 mm at the 75% level of confidence to 18.7 mm at 5% level. This means that of all the people in the universe who have lower incisor measure 22 mm, 75% will have cuspid and bicuspid width totaling 22.6 mm or less. The value at the 75% level is chosen as the estimate since it has been found to be the most practical from a clinical standpoint. This is for the short method. Short method is a shorter but less precise method has been developed which is of merit but doesn't allow for sexual dimorphisms with equal accuracy. So, To do the short method, first you have to add the width of the mandible incisor and divide it by 2. And next, to value obtained at a 10.5 millimeter to predict the canine width of the mandibular cuspid and bicuspid, and 11 millimeter to predict the canine width of the maxillary cuspid and bicuspid. And next step is to compute the amount of space left in the arch for molar adjustment by subtracting the estimated cuspid and bicuspid size from the measured space available in the arch after alignment of the incisor. And don't forget to record this value for each side. From all the value now record, a complete assignment of the space situation in the mandible is possible. Okay, now we have to move on to procedure in maxillary arch. This procedure is similar to that for the lower arch with two exceptions. For the first one is a different probability card is used for predicting the upper cuspid and bicuspid sum. And for the second one is for allowance must be made for overjet correction when measuring the space to be occupied by the aligned incisor. And note for the width of the lower incisor are used to predict upper cuspid and bicuspid width. Okay, this is for mixed dentition analysis. This is the complete one for the measurement, and the total space is you have to add together and multiply with by 2, and there is no allowance for the mandible, so you don't have to subtract or add, you just need to add up the lateral width. And for the estimate possibility, the upper jaw must be, or the maxillary, you have given allowance of 2.5 millimeter, while for the mandible there is no needed. Okay, that's all for my presentation. Thank you for listening. Thank you.